Let's meet the new Federal Natural Resources Minister, James Carr. If you hadn't heard of him before, well, don't feel so bad. Neither had the Canadian Association of Drilling Contractors. They admit they had to Google him. And so did I, because we can't just rely on the mainstream media to tell us the whole story anymore. James Carr is the new Liberal MP for the Winnipeg riding of South Centre. He's a former Manitoba provincial Liberal MLA. After that, he was a journalist and an oboist with the Winnipeg City Orchestra. That's interesting. He also sat as the president of the Business Council of Manitoba. That last one sounds sort of okay, except that during this time, he advocated over and over and over again for a hike in the provincial PST there. So that's sort of an interesting backstory, but what about that makes him qualified to run the portfolio responsible in part for the handling of pipelines, mining, minerals, and exploration? Well, nothing. I mean, if we were talking about a normal government, but Trudeau's government isn't normal. It's basically a social justice sit-in with better pay and smarter shoes. Carr is qualified to sit in Trudeau's government, though, because he passed the social justice sniff test. He's green, really green. Like how green? Well, Carr thinks Canada is a colossal fossil for inaction on climate. Yeah, like it's on his Liberal Party blog. I mean, let's just disregard that greenhouse gas emissions actually fell under the Conservatives. Carr thinks Keystone XL and other pipelines are held up because of Canada's bad climate change policies. That's weird, because for all of Trudeau's peacocking about climate change, he even named a minister of climate change. Obama, just now, rejected Keystone XL.
This morning, Secretary Kerry informed me that after extensive public outreach and consultation with other cabinet agencies, the State Department has decided that the Keystone XL pipeline would not serve the national interests of the United States. I agree with that decision. This morning, I also had the opportunity to speak with Prime Minister Trudeau of Canada, and while he expressed his disappointment, given Canada's position on this issue, we both agreed that our close friendship on a whole range of issues, including energy and climate change, should provide the basis for even closer coordination between our countries going forward.
And then Carr was endorsed by GreenPac. He even tweeted about how proud he was to be endorsed by them. Well, GreenPac is just a left-wing think tank of environmentalists who throw support behind candidates who show the biggest commitment to the cult of global warming. Carr promises to invest in green energy, saying in a tweet, "We will invest in green technology and infrastructure and lead the national conversation on climate change." I wonder how he'll do that. Maybe with one of those sales taxes he spent so long trying to push on the poor people of Manitoba. And then there was the time Carr tweeted his congratulations to Alberta for electing our pipeline-hating activist NDP government. Yeah, thanks for those congratulations. There's so much more out there, but you really have to see this one from the Liberal Party convention in 2014. Carr praises Alison Redford, of all people, and then goes on to advocate a national energy program.
Guess who's leading the charge and making the most powerful argument in Canada now for a Canadian energy strategy? It's the progressive Conservative Premier of Alberta, Alison Redford. Yes, who understands that if we're going to expand into other export markets, if we are going to put a premium on energy literacy, on conservation, and if we are going to play, as Mr. Harper wants us to play, as a superpower in the world, it's going to take more than the resources of Alberta. It's going to take more than the hydroelectric power of Quebec and Ontario. It's going to take a national objective and strategy. The only problem is the federal government isn't at the table.
Now, if you're an Albertan and that doesn't make your blood run cold, I really don't know what will. And if you were in mining or an embattled oil and gas company, how confident would you be that James Carr would act in your best interest? I'm pretty confident he's not going to act in mine. So there, Canada, that's our new environmental activist, natural resources minister. He can play us a little tune on his oboe as our economy melts right down. For TheRebel.Media, I'm Sheila Gunn Reid.